Hi guys, welcome to Jewel for Real. Today's video is going to be my 32-week bump date. There's the belly, you can already see it. The baby is now 3 3/4 pounds, it says online, and 16.7 inches long. Almost 4 pounds. It's getting ready to be born, obviously, soon. They say that your body is gearing up to gain a pound a week right now during the pregnancy. And little Linnea, if you looked inside the womb, it said that she will have her toenails and fingernails by now, and her hair. They say by now that her skin is soft and smooth, and she's plumping up for birth, and it's not like really wrinkly anymore like they said in the early stages of pregnancy. Interestingly, in this point in pregnancy, they say that your blood volume is like twice as much, like 50% more than normal. And they say as my uterus is pushing up into my diaphragm and pushing my stomach up, that you may feel out of breath, which is definitely happening, as you can hear in past bump dates. It's increasing, and they say heartburn may happen too, which is definitely happening, but still less than other pregnancies. They say by now that usually people have to sleep propped up, which I do. I mean, right now I need like 2 pillows underneath my head to sleep, and it might increase as the pregnancy goes on to 3 pillows. And I know like hubby always jokes about like towards the end of pregnancy that you have like your bed is full of pillows, and he barely has room for himself. They also say that you have to start like eating smaller meals more frequently, which I'm starting to realize, because I realize that if I eat bigger meals more spread apart, like that's when I feel awful. I even feel nauseous and may throw up just from eating so much. And so I do understand what they are saying, like smaller, more frequent meals would be better for me to hopefully digest it and feel like less of that feeling. The other thing that they say that you may be feeling at this point in your pregnancy is lower back pain, which I would say I do, although I would say that more of my pain is in my shoulders. I guess I'm like carrying like out and down, so my shoulders are like just like paining me more. I feel like I'm out right in between my shoulder blades. But a lot of people at this point in their pregnancy feel like lower back pain. And I can tell you what has really helped me in the past, besides chiropractic adjustments, for lower back pain. Hold on, let me show you. Here it is, guys. It is called a sacral belt. Iliosacral or sacral ilium, I don't know. But yeah, it's by the company Sorolla, and it comes in different sizes: small, medium, large, extra large. And you can buy it on Amazon. And I'm only telling you about that because it really helps. Whether you're pregnant or not pregnant, it's a lifesaver when you're having lower back pain or hip pain. So my chiropractor told me about it, and I ordered it, and it has been a lifesaver when I'm in pain. And it's only like $25, guys. Way cheaper than a chiropractor. You don't want to go to the chiropractor all the time. So yeah, I'll show you what it looks like, how you put it on. So here you go, guys. I'm about to show you how to put on this belt. There's my weird hiked up pants, maternity pants. But you just undo all the Velcro. So make sure the title of Sorolla is face up. And all you do is put it around you. Secure it around your hips, like the top of your hips, and then Velcro it at a good point right there. And once it feels good where it is right now. You don't want it too loose or too tight. And then you just take, it has like little side straps. I don't know if you can see, like little flying wings. And you just take them and you pull them as tight as you can go. And Velcro, it has Velcro right here, and you just Velcro it there. It feels so good once you have it on. Like, it's not a maternity belt, guys. It is just a SI belt, so you can wear it when you're pregnant, not pregnant. Although you might need a smaller belt when you're not pregnant. So yeah, that's how I use this belt. Very awesome thing. Like I said, look it up. By Sorolla. Very worth the 25 bucks. Okay guys, now I'm about to show you my 32-week belly, what it looks like, show you how it's coming along. So here it is guys, here is my 32-week belly right now. And this is the way it looks on the side right now. This side. There's the bare belly. There's the bare belly from the side. And from this side. There it is. There's my cute little outfit. I don't know if you can see it. I got these jeans at a thrift store. They're really cute, and I'm wearing boots because it's getting cold. It's fall. So yeah guys, that's what my belly looks like now. It's coming along, very round and there. And hey guys, since my last bump date, I did my maternity photo shoot, and I actually put it up on Family for Real. And so if you didn't get a chance to go look, it's linked right here, also linked below. We have a daily vlogging channel called Family for Real. That's where we put it up, like how it went for me, the maternity photo shoot. That I plan on doing a video soon on Jewel for Real that will show my maternity photo shoot, that will also kind of show what I experienced, and I'll talk about it. I'll do a slideshow of my shots and show you what the different pictures look like. My cousin Stacy did an awesome job. Go check her out on Instagram, Stacy Landis. If you go on Instagram and type in Stacy Landis, you'll find her, and she put some shots up of me there, but not all of them, obviously. I'll also link her below, but all the maternity shots will be coming out soon. Also, by now, you will have seen on Family for Real, if you go over to Family for Real, Randy painting my belly a pumpkin, a cute little belly pumpkin for Halloween, so go check that out as well. We can link that right here and also below. It turned out cute. By now when you see this video, I will have put out my miscarriage video, part 1. There's 2 parts, part 1 and part 2. I wanted to put part 1 out in October when it was October Awareness Month, and that's when I also miscarried. I miscarried on October 28th back in 2007. I wanted to share my experience with you guys, so I did a part 1 and a part 2, so go check that out as well. So I just went to my bi-weekly birth appointments now, because now they're bi-weekly. I went to my bi-weekly birth appointments a couple days ago, and I discovered a couple things. One, I discovered I didn't gain any weight over the last 2 weeks. Zippo, 0, none. I actually lost a half a pound. So I was 146 pounds 2 weeks ago. And when I weighed myself at the birth center with the same scale, I was 145 and a half. So I actually lost a half a pound. And that's never happened to me with any of my other pregnancies. And I was a little concerned by that. I was like, is everything okay? And because I've never lost weight. So I asked the midwife about it, and she didn't seem concerned at all. Like, she says maybe if it keeps happening, she'd be concerned and sent me in for an ultrasound. But she said, the baby looks good, you're measuring on track, and the heartbeat is fine, the baby's moving, you can feel it moving. So I'm not concerned at all. Right now, every pregnancy is different, and this might just be what happens in your pregnancy. So far, I went from 19 pounds gaining in this pregnancy to 18 and a half. So I think by the time, I have 8 weeks left, so I think by the time I'm done this pregnancy, I will have gained between 25 and 30 pounds. So time will tell. I do think that the reason why maybe I didn't gain anything this month was a couple reasons. One, I increased my thyroid medication because, like I told you in the last bump date, I was low again, and they increased my thyroid medication, and that can help your metabolism and lead to me not gaining the weight. Also, the fact that I've been moving around a lot the last 2 weeks, probably more than normal, because I was taking spring summer clothes out of 4 kids' closets, moving fall winter clothes into 5 kids' closets and dressers. And I also was making applesauce. I was very busy, moving around a lot, not resting a lot, also schooling the kids. So it probably was just, me not sitting still too. So at this point, they're not concerned. They said if it keeps happening in the next 2 to 4 weeks of me not gaining weight, then they'll send me in for an ultrasound to check on things. I also discovered that they said, when she checked that the baby is now head down. I don't know if it will stay head down because she says there's still room where they could flip at this point. Usually no room by 36 weeks. So hopefully the baby stays head down. And what she felt was the back, the spine was on this side, and the butt was right here because she feels softness over on this side, which a lot of times I will see my belly move on this side and a big lump come up, and it will be like higher on my left side than my right. That makes sense when she said that the baby's in that position. And so the butt's here and the legs are over here. A lot of times I'll feel a lot of movement in my lower extremities, like the crotchet area. I think it's because the baby's arms are up by its head a lot. Because during my 20-week ultrasound, they saw the baby sucking its thumb, and they also saw the baby with his hands over his head a lot. And so I think that the baby just likes that, and it's doing that. That's why I'm feeling that awkward feeling. But we'll see if the baby ends up being a thumb sucker like it did in utero, when it actually is out of the womb. Usually I know with babies, when they suck their thumb, it's usually not right away. Usually it takes a few weeks to a few months for them to find their thumb again once they come out. Because my daughter Talia sucked her thumb. The rest of my kids were pacifier suckers. So I also talked to the midwife. Was a different midwife than last time. I talked to her about my 10-year-old being at the birth. Like I showed like I was talking about my 30-week bump date. If you haven't checked out that, go check that out. I talk about how my daughter wants to be at my birth, and she's 10 years old, and she expressed interest, and I showed her different YouTube videos, and she seemed okay with it. I talked to the midwife about it, this midwife, and she said that she's participated in a lot of home births, and that she felt like, well, it's up to you ultimately as a mom to decide if you think your child's okay with it. And that she felt like for people that have home births, that it's the kids are around and they see it, and if they don't like it, they walk out of the room. But she says she thinks birth is very taboo nowadays, that a lot of people want to shelter and not talk about it until you're actually a mom and going through it. You know nothing about what to expect or anything until you're actually going through it. She actually said she thinks it's great. She thinks it's great if Talia would participate and be involved and see how things are before she goes through it as a mom herself, and that we should shed more light on the birth experience. Well, the reason why I didn't choose a home birth, I mean, I had thought about it, but I didn't really think about a home birth until the 4th child. And by then, I'm a very sentimental person. And at that point, I gave birth at the birth center for the other 3 kids. And so at that point, I was like, I would like to just give birth to all my kids at the birth center and be able to point it out someday and say, y'all were born there. So now with this baby, number 5, I was like, yeah, I kind of want the same thing. I kind of want them all to be born at the same place. So I actually thought about a home birth. I thought it'd be a cool thing to do, and I think it's great, people that do home births, but I just was sentimentally attached to the birth center, and it's still a natural way of giving birth with no medications or anything, and with midwives in a nice cozy room, and they release you after like a half a day to go home. I also liked that it was like 2 minutes away from the hospital. The birth center that I go to is literally like right across the street from the hospital. So that part I do like as well. One thing I wanted to talk about was my fears about birth and afterbirth. My fear was always with every pregnancy and delivery is tearing. No woman wants to tear. It hurts like crap. I tore with my first child with almost 2nd degree tearing, almost 3rd degree. It was very painful, and I can talk about that in another bump date, but it wasn't pleasant, and I made sure for my 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th pregnancy to elaborate to the midwife, I do not want to tear again. What can I do? Make sure I don't. So the thing, I never tore since then, And what I did different that I didn't do for the first pregnancy was, one, the midwife made sure she lubricated me well while I was pushing. But the second thing, which was the biggest thing, was delivering on my side. The midwife said delivering on your side helps you to not tear. And I was like, I'm all about not tearing, I'll try it. And I've delivered on my side every single other pregnancy, and I never tore since. At this point, I'm like, I'm sticking with it. So if you don't want to tear, that's a suggestion from me to you, to deliver on your side and have somebody hold up your leg, because it's really hard to hold up your own leg while you're pushing. So another thing that I found really helpful when I was delivering was having those handheld massagers that you don't have to plug in. I would tell my husband every time a contraction was coming on, and I would just like nod to him, like so he knew, okay, contraction is coming, and he would just shove that sucker right into my lower back, and that helped me get through my very intense contractions. At least for me, everybody's different, but I would advise you to have that on hand when you're in delivery. Go to the store, buy it. It's like $5. These little vibrating handheld massagers, and just like try it when you have a contraction, having your husband really shoving that thing into your lower back. I loved it, but hey, everybody's different. Maybe you won't. Another fear I have that I've had with every single child ever after my first child is breast infections. I struggle, like I didn't with my first child. I breastfed 10 months. I didn't have any problems, and she was a great breastfeeder. But then with all my other pregnancies, after I got my Lyme disease, and I don't know if it has something to do with my Lyme disease, but ever since then, with all my other pregnancies, I had trouble with breast infections. And that is no fun. And that would like, you feel like you have the flu. And I would get that like twice a month. And it would take days and days and days to go away. And it just, I never found a solution for it to make it not happen. But one thing I really am hoping for a different outtake this time around. I'm really going to work closely with a lactation consultant. So one thing the lactation consultant pointed out to me that I had been doing wrong the other times I breastfed was that I had like an underwire in my bra. Like not all the way through my bra, but I had it, I didn't think I had any underwire. I thought I bought underwireless bras, but apparently it still had like a wire like under my armpit, and that can really affect your breastfeeding. And that you need to make sure you buy a bra that has absolutely no wires in it whatsoever. You really have to know for sure and feel. The Bravado brand I know doesn't. Yeah, I need to have more of those type of bras. And I also discovered, I know it's a little TMI, but I discovered that they said coconut oil on your nipple really helps with fungal and bacterial infections to not enter. So I hadn't really tried that with all my other kids, and I plan on trying that this time. And I also plan on trying to take vitamin C. That's okay when you're breastfeeding, and that can help your immune system. So I'll let you know if all that stuff works. Stay tuned after I give birth, and I try those things out, and I'll let you know if they work or not. I'm really hopeful that I don't struggle with that this time around. It also really depends on like the way your baby is. I hope that I have a good breastfeeding baby this time around, because some of my first baby was good, but some of the other babies weren't. They were a little more of a struggle. My one baby had a tongue tie, and that was a real big struggle for breastfeeding until I got it taken care of. And I plan on talking about what I went through with the tongue tie and how Kellyanna got rid of the tongue tie in another video at some point. So stay tuned for that. But I just, that is another fear of mine. It all depends on whether your experience after postpartum all depends on whether you have a good baby or a not so good baby, a colicky baby or a very relaxed, calm baby. I've had both. I kind of got like lucky where my first three were like totally calm, chill, and pretty good, but then my fourth baby was more cranky, more fussy, and had a tongue tie. And it was a struggle for me for a while. So I'm really hopeful that this baby is more relaxed and doesn't have a tongue tie problem. So guys, yeah, I'm excited about my birth experience because there's nothing greater than looking into your baby's eyes for the very first time and saying, "Hi, baby," and then having them look up like they're saying, "Hi, mommy," and we're both like seeing each other for the first time, and it's such a cool experience. But I am, like nervous about the birth experience. Even though I have pretty good birth experiences, it's still nerve-wracking. I went through with my first, it was 12 hours long, and then with my second, it was 2 hours long, and then with my third and fourth, it went up to 5 hours long. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not, I definitely don't think it's going back up to 12 hours because you only had your first child's always the hardest. So that's what I try to tell first-time moms. Don't think your other kids are going to be the same experience for labor. Don't fear that because it gets easier. It really does. It usually does, unless you have an emergency. But if you don't have an emergency, it's usually very easy, like a lot easier than your first. With my first, I pushed for 2 hours. With my second, I pushed for 5 minutes. And with my first, I tore, second-degree tearing. With all the rest of them, I didn't tear. So don't fear birth and think that it's going to be just like your first experience. A lot of times it's different and a lot easier and nicer after that for people. So I'm really hopeful that it's no longer than 5 hours and I have no tearing like the other kids and there's no emergencies. So guys, I wanted to quick show you my veins that are in my legs. I haven't gotten compression stockings yet. I don't think I need to at this point because I only have 8 weeks left. And I don't feel like spending the extra money, even though insurance covers most of it, because I'm moving more, because I'm not as tired as I was the first and second trimester. So it doesn't bother me as much, but it's still there. And it's worse than my other pregnancies. So as you have more pregnancies, it just can become more of a problem. I had it a little bit with my fourth pregnancy, and now it's a little worse with my fifth. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like, just so you can see for yourself what it looks like if you experience it too. So here guys, I'm about to show you the vein in my leg. I don't have it on the other side. As you can see, there's nothing on the right side. But on the left side, you can see it starts up here and it runs down. You can really see it there. See how it runs up right here in the front. So it's a very long vein. So hopefully it goes away after I deliver and won't be a problem and you won't see it anymore. Cross your fingers. So that's it for today's video, guys. For my 32-week bump date, stay tuned for my 34-week bump date in 2 weeks. And also in my miscarriage part 2 video that will be coming out shortly. And in my 34-week bump date, I'll talk more about the delivery coming up and other things as I think about it. And since I'm having bi-weekly birth appointments, I'll fill you in on how that's going. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Comment below with any questions. And make sure you subscribe if you're not already, because like I said, I put out bi-weekly bump dates. I'll put out bi-weekly baby dates. I also put out other things at random. That's it for today's video, guys. Until next time, fly high and dream big.